good cheer from everywhere, filling the air. Oh, how they pound, raising the sound, o'er hill and down, telling the town. Gaily they ring, while people sing songs of good cheer. Christmas is here. Ring, 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 say Christmas. Ring, 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 joyful bells. Ding, dong, they say, dawn without end. Ding, joyful tone, dong everywhere. Ding, how the clouds, ding, silver bells, ding, seem to say, dong cares away. Christmas is here, bringing good cheer to young and old, meek and the bold. Ding dong, that is their song. Ding dong, ring dong, carol ring. One seems to hear words of good cheer from everywhere, filling the air. Oh, how they pound, raising the sound, o'er hill and down, telling the tale. Gaily they ring, while people sing songs of good cheer. Christmas is here. Ring, 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 say Christmas. Ring, 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 joyous bells. Ding, and they send on without end. Ding, joyful tone, dong everywhere. Ding, how the bells, ding, silver bells, ding, seem to say, dong cares away. Ding dong, ding dong, dong dong.
Thank you, thank you. How lovely. What a wonderful start. Not only to our time today, but also our holiday season. Good morning, everyone. My name is Valerie Hope. I am your celebration assistant today, and we welcome you to Unity on Greenville. It's a positive path for spiritual living. What we had this morning, this beautiful melodies and sounds, the four-part harmony of the Heart of Dallas Choir, Ladies Chorus, led by Sandy Hanny. You know Sandy, some of you have seen her here in our sanctuary. Thank you so much. Beautiful, beautiful. We'll be hearing from them throughout their service today. Both Rachel and Reverend David are off today. We have a wonderful guest speaker. Once again, our licensed Unity teacher, Dr. Nancy Little. Welcome back, Nancy. We're in for a treat, as you can see already, as we celebrate the holiday season. We have some wonderful activities coming up, so you should mark on your calendar if you haven't already. We'll have a Christmas Eve service by Reverend David. It's going to be on December the 24th at 6 p.m. right here in the sanctuary, so hopefully you'll be here with us. If you're not able to, those of you who are on live stream right now, you'll be able to catch it on live stream as well. And you also want to reserve the 31st. We have our burning bowl ceremony. It's an opportunity to release the old and in with the new. So feel free to come here, or also, I'm not sure if we're going to be live streaming that one, maybe not, but definitely want to make sure that you take a moment to reflect on everything that you've accomplished in the year and the things that you want to release so that we start off our new year fresh. And that's going to be on the Saturday, the 31st of December at 6 p.m. as well. As usual, we want to make sure that we continue to contribute to our community right here in downtown Dallas. We have our little pantry right out there on the sidewalk on Lower Greenville. If you have some foods that are non-perishable, obviously canned, easy to open tops, or individually packaged and wrapped foods, we'd like for you to bring them in here so that we will always have a perpetually stocked pantry for anyone who may need that during this season and beyond. We have Kim Doria does an amazing job on our website and our YouTube videos. She actually curates the meditations, she curates affirmations, she curates our music as well as our sermons and places them on our YouTube channel. So if you're not already subscribed to YouTube, whenever she updates anything, you'll get a notification. But please go back and listen to any of the replays. We have a beautiful series of meditations for all of the entire year. We also have all the messages that have been delivered. We will eventually have the chorus also will be featured in our music. So hopefully you'll have an opportunity to look at our YouTube channel to hear what we've been up to here at Unity on Greenville. Now in Unity, we do believe in being open to receiving the good that's intended for us. And in turn, we want to share the good that we receive. If you consider Unity on Greenville your spiritual home or place where your soul is nourished, we want to invite you to share your financial abundance and blessings in support of this community. You have several options for sharing your gifts today. Those of you who are present in the sanctuary, we do have an offering plate right in the back in the hallway. Feel free to put a check, or there's an envelope right in the back of your pew you can fill out as well. We also have different options on the screen. You can do it via text, you can do it via QR code, whatever is most convenient for you. But we want to take a moment to just thank you for sharing your financial gifts with us. And with the gifts that are coming in and those that we have already received, we'd like to bless those gifts. So if you could join me, please, in sharing this offering blessing. Divine love as me blesses and multiplies all that I have, all that I give, and all that I receive. With gratitude, we commit to using our gifts for good. Amen. Thank you. Today's daily word for December 4th, the word is peace, and the affirmation is centered in God. I am a peaceful presence. Stepping away from the busyness of the holiday preparations and the important work that must be completed before year's end, I continue my Advent journey by practicing peace in the present moment wherever I am. I'm gracious with store clerks and servers in restaurants. I add positive, peaceful thoughts to conversations. And when I'm traveling, I bless other drivers with whom I share the roads and my fellow passengers on public transportation. Peace flows from that place in consciousness where God's presence fills my awareness. I need not find a quiet corner. When I'm willing, anywhere can be a peaceful sanctuary. The peace of God refreshes me and goes with me as I return to the activities of the day. Wherever I go, whatever I'm doing, I am a peaceful presence. And the scripture comes from Psalm chapter 29, verse 11. May the Lord give strength to his people. May the Lord bless his people with peace. Please say with me the affirmation you see on the screen. Centered in God, I am a peaceful presence. Just let that sit with you for a moment. And I'd like to invite Sandra de la Cruz for a word of prayer.
As we begin this moment of prayer, let us remember that God is absolute good and everywhere present. And let us know that prayer heightens our connection with God. If you so choose, you may close your eyes, find a comfortable way to sit, and open that light that is within all of us, that is our direct connection to God. Let us know today that peace begins in me. That any time there is something going on with our friends or our family or in the world or in the city, let us know that and remember that peace begins in me. Let us know that any time we want peace in our lives, let us remember that peace begins in me. Let us know that we can always find that prayer, that direct connection to God. And let us remember that peace begins in me. With this prayer, we affirm again that God is absolute good and everywhere present. Amen.
Be still and know that I am God. From Psalms 46:10. As we move into meditation, let that message percolate. Be still and know that I am God. Be still. This phrase actually comes from the Hebrew word rapha, which means to let go, to release, to surrender, and know. In its original Hebrew, taken together with be still, it actually has the meaning of in order to know. What is yours to surrender in order that you may know? When we surrender ourselves, our will, to the presence of the divine, so that that presence is more fully revealed and we are able to experience our own spiritual power. What is yours to let go? What is yours to surrender? Where do you cling to things, ideas, behaviors, attitudes that no longer serve you? What can you do to know a deeper, more intimate awareness of Source? The omniscient, omnipotent, and omnipresent force of the universe. With a collective deep inhale, lean in and listen for the wisdom of the divine in the silence. In the stillness, we listen. In the stillness, we hear divine wisdom. In the stillness, we heal our hearts in the stillness. We absorb powerful insights that lead us forward. With another deep inhale, we begin to move back into the sacred space, fully awake and present to the messages that are present for us today in the music, in the words others speak, and in those subtle nudges to which we respond with curiosity and gratitude. And so it is. Amen.
We're going to lead you now in a song called Shalom, which simply means peace. We're going to teach it to you, singing it through twice, and then we'll sing it one more time with you and in a 3-part round, and I will lead you through that. Here we go.
Shalom, my friend, shalom, my friend, shalom, shalom. We'll see you again, we'll see you again. Shalom, 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 my friend, shalom, my friend, shalom, shalom. We'll see you again, we'll see you again. Shalom, shalom. Shalom, my friend, shalom, my friend, shalom, shalom. We'll see you again, we'll see you again. Shalom, 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 my friend, shalom, my friend, shalom, my friend, shalom, my friend, shalom, we'll see you again, we'll see you again, we'll see you again. Shalom, shalom, my friend, shalom, my friend, shalom, my friend, shalom, we'll see you again, we'll see you again, we'll see you again. Shalom, shalom.
I may need the mic. Wow. I had no idea I was going to get to sing 3-part harmony this morning and experience the joy that comes from music. Thanks to you, Sandy, and to your wonderful chorus for setting the stage and opening our hearts so lovely. Whew. So it's nice to be with you here in the sanctuary today, these beautiful decorations, and welcome to those of you that are online as well. It's always good to have many people experiencing and joining with us. And what our topic is today, the second Sunday of Advent, is about peace. The title of my talk is Peace, Be Still. Peace, be still. I brought my own special peace sign and then a little Santa that also has peace letters, just to add a little playfulness. Maybe some of you can't see Santa. Let me bring him more fully present so we can all see that even Santa is feeling peaceful right now. And if Santa can be peaceful, I think we can too. I'm just going to let him rest right here behind me in case I need to look around and connect with Santa. So the reading from Scripture that inspired me to kind of flow into this whole talk topic is from Mark 4:39. And that's when Jesus said, "Peace, be still," to calm the turbulent waters on the Sea of Galilee. Welcome. When he issued that decree, that command, the water stood still. And the disciples were amazed because not only were the seas turbulent, but so were the disciples. They were pleading with Jesus, "Wake up, wake up." They were afraid that they were going to perish, even though Jesus had assured them that all was well. So sometimes we need to calm those inner storms too, right? I mean, we heard in the Daily Word the idea that sometimes it's the traffic, sometimes it's the stores. I'll share an experience Russ and I had yesterday in a moment. There's lots of external chaos right now. There are lots of external factors that influence us to get off center. The disciples even said to Jesus, "Don't you care?" Which obviously, yes. And yet the disciples were early in their discipleship. Their faith was still growing, as is true for many of us. We're still experiencing and discovering new ways of living our faith and our strength and our wisdom and all the spiritual abilities with which we are endowed. So we need to remember that our inner turmoil, the chaos that we inevitably feel, and this is one of the most stressful times of the year for everybody. I'll mention a scale. It's called the Holmes-Rahe scale, HOLMES. R is RAHE. You can Google it, and it's called by a longer name, but basically it's known as the Holmes-Rahe Stress Self-Assessment Scale. And it gives you a number of events that you can add up. It can be fairly daunting for some people if you've had a lot of change in your life lately. Haven't we all? But even Christmas or the holidays gets points just for being that time of year. And if you add on moving, loss of a job, loss of a relationship, death of a significant loved one, or any other number of variables, the numbers can mount up pretty quickly. But let's listen to some of the wisdom from some of my favorite Unity writers and authors, one of whom is Sue Sicking. She was a Unity minister for about 45 years. And she wrote a book called Letters to Adam. I forgot to look for it this morning. I own it, and you could too. Letters to Adam by Sue Sicking. It cost me more to have it delivered than the purchase of the book, but it's a treasure. And she collected letters that were written to her over the years. And this is what she said about inner peace. She said, "It's a state of mind wherein we know that something is sustaining us and we know that we have a purpose." Isn't that so important? To know that we're standing on solid ground, that we have that inner knowing, that we are moving in a way that is meaningful and giving of ourselves on purpose, just like you beautiful women delivered your songs of praise and joy and hope. That is so on purpose and so important. So one of the things about this time of year is that we can rekindle that hope. We can create that childlike wonder. And I will address in a moment the fact that not everybody's in a great place right now. We don't all feel like jolly old St. Nick, right? Sometimes we feel moments of that, but overall we're feeling a little overwhelmed. So when I remember and reflect back to my first real home that was our home, that we didn't share with other people, it was when I moved into what we called our new house for a long time in 1963. Some of you probably weren't even alive then. But I had moved in to this unfinished home that went way over budget because my dad was the contractor, and he had an experience maybe some of you have had in a remodeling project or a building project when you say, can I do this or that? And they're like, of course you can, as long as you can pay for it. So he went like 125% is what they wound up expensing for the original cost of the project. So that year, I thought it was so fun, but what my dad did was he wrapped the front door in this kind of bright, shiny paper, and we put a spotlight on the front door. And that was his way of saying, this home is our Christmas present this year. That's what we get. We get a new place. And it was so unfinished. The floor in the downstairs was concrete. There was only furniture in 3 of the rooms in the entire house, our 2 bedrooms, and then the kitchen. I love the concrete floors because I could roller skate down there. I mean, what could be more fun? But we also got a live Christmas tree that year from the nursery in town. And we had it up on the upper level. It's really not a 2-story house. It's kind of hard to explain, but Dad raised the ceiling from the basement to make it feel like 2 living areas. So anyway, the live Christmas tree was in this metal container, and it started leaking, and it leaked through the hardwood floors to the ceiling tile, and the ceiling tiles on the lower level were falling through. So it was, did it feel like chaos? Yes. I thought it was all kind of fun and it was all going to be okay. And I think I still got a new doll that year. But that tree and that whole experience is just etched in my heart. We planted the tree outside, and it was there until about 3 or 4 years ago. My children grew up loving that tree, climbing that tree. It was just such a source of beauty. It had an abundance of pine cones. And those are some of the memories that we can recall. You don't have to be wealthy. We certainly were anything but in those days. My dad was a recent college graduate. He had a budding career, but he was just at the very beginning. But we had fun, and he found a way to make it fun. And I am all about creating joy every day because we have opportunities. When we look around our neighborhoods or drive around our city, we see an abundance of lights, right? We want the light to temper or mediate the darkness that we're experiencing now. And we're not even to the shortest day of the year yet, but it feels so dark at times. But the lights, those Christmas trees and the lights on people's homes and the decorations, they add a sense of liveliness and hope. They light the way. And we can create our own inner light as well. Okay, so how do we do that? How do we continue to be purposeful and intentional? Because if I continue on with a few more quotes from Reverend Sue Sicking. And I heard a conversation that kind of alluded to this in the restroom this morning. You never know what wisdom you're going to discern in the restroom, right? Power comes to the one who can hold peace. This must not be an outer, seeming peace, but a true being and inner quietness. No miserable inside and artificial peace outside is of any use. You can't fake it. You can't fake peace. You have to really find a way to capture that sense of curiosity, that sense of, I got this sense of connection with Source. So we all have some opportunities in this holiday season. I told you I was going to tell you a little story about what Russ and I went through yesterday, and I won't go through the long, involved part of it, but basically, in a nutshell, I had already mailed 11 packages, and I had 9 more to mail, but my closest post office had closed at 1:30, and my only other option was in Denton, which is about 40 minutes from my house, and it closed at 4. So Russ told me, Waze says we're not going to make it. Anybody use Waze? I was like, it's okay. We can beat Waze. We can do this. We're going to hold a vision that we're going to make it. And we pulled in the parking lot at 3:58, and I am literally running across the parking lot and up the stairs, and it's a long way to the entrance of the post office. It's one of those old buildings. And I'm running down the hall with my bag, and this guy goes, looks like you're about 5 minutes too late. And I said, oh, the doors are still open. And we drove all the way from Flower Mound, and I see the open door, and here I am just jogging towards the door and walk in. And the guy holding the door says, so we opened at 8 and you're just now getting here? It takes that long to get here from Flower Mound? I said, it's a long story. And I just kept going. And there was one clerk that had a receptive look on her face, and I went right to her. And I said, thank you so much for taking these packages, because I'm hosting a holiday event virtually on Wednesday, and I wanted everybody to get their package that we will collectively open together on Tuesday. So we kept holding that vision, and I was saying all sorts of peace-filled ideas on the way up. Thankfully, today's talk was on peace. It was really supporting me yesterday. And so Russ and we're talking about the trees and the glistening leaves, and he reflected on the beautiful water and how when the sunlight reflects on the water. So we were seeing the beauty all around us. I don't know about him, but I was just like, I'm okay with this. Whatever happens, we will have given it our best shot, and it's all going to be okay in the end, right? And as it turned out, we high-fived and we left Denton feeling successful. So that's just a little example of one thing you can do to create that sense of harmony and tranquility with whatever is. You know, I'm that way about cooking and hosting. In my house, everybody contributes. Know that if you ever want to come to my home. And everybody gets to play in the kitchen and enjoy the process. We can carry that forward into other areas of our life, because one of the other people that I often quote, one of my other favorite women of unity, is Martha Smock. Let me get that out clearly. In her book, Listen, Beloved, and if you don't know Martha Smock, she was the director of and the supervisor of the Daily Word for more than 35 years. We heard the Daily Word message this morning. Some of you probably subscribe to the Daily Word. I think Martha had a lot of wisdom and insight based on her experience. And she said this: if there is even one person with whom you are not at peace, then you have work to do. And the work begins with you, in your own thoughts and feelings and in your own reactions. So we have this blessed opportunity, whether it's sending somebody an electronic card or message or an actual paper card. I still do that. I like to send cards as well. We can create peace. We can extend our hand. We can extend our love and kindness. And Martha goes on to say, you can give the gift of peace through your loving and harmonious attitudes and actions. When I am going into a situation that can be potentially stressful, maybe some of you have friends or relatives with whom you interact and engage, and you have sometimes beliefs that can be a little conflictual or create disharmony. But going into every situation is, I am a peacemaker. I claim peace. I am going to take care of myself in a way that makes me a gift, that just my presence is a gift because I can be there with and for others. Okay, I mentioned that not everybody is feeling great this time of year. You know, that Holmes Race scale. Some of us have accumulated some losses. Some of us have lived through changes this year. Maybe you've lost a pet. Maybe you've lost a friend or a colleague or a significant other. Maybe you've had some other change. It's been a rough couple of years, and this year has been hard on me in the sense that two of the most important people in my life passed. The holidays bring up some anniversary reactions for me. My dad, with whom I had a very close relationship, he passed on December 22nd, and his funeral was on December 24th. So it comes back. It reminds me of that time. It reminds me of when I sat with him in his last few moments, with the last few breaths that he took on this earthly plane. It is a time of joy, but it's also a time of sadness and longing. It changed all of the lives of everybody in our family. So there are people that are grieving. If you are not actively grieving, hooray. That's something to be grateful for and to celebrate. But other people are. And if you have feelings about it, don't let anybody tell you that you're not being spiritual enough. That's just metaphysical malpractice. We have feelings when we grieve, no matter how deep our relationship is with God, how much we love and honor the divine within us. But you can continue to process those feelings, and you can continue to know that you will not feel like this forever, that you can engage in ways that are healthy and meaningful for you. And avoid people in situations where you're encouraged to pretend that nothing's happening. And I know this experience from a Christmas in the late 80s, and I had just had a miscarriage. I was incredibly sad. I was incredibly fragile and vulnerable. And the people around me didn't want me to talk about it. They wanted to just sweep it away, focus on what's good. And yes, there was a lot good, but I was also really sad and hurting and concerned that I might not be able to have another baby. In fact, I had 3 miscarriages between my first and second children. So that tells you that, yes, eventually I did have another baby, but it was a long road. And each of those losses was significant. So what can you do? What kind of expectations can you set for this holiday, these holy days that are in front of us? The best thing you can do for yourself, no matter what's happening in your life, is to engage with other people. Preferably in person, like in community, like here today. But even electronically is better than just shutting off and shutting down. You can have gatherings on Zoom. It may not be ideal, but sometimes it's the only way. My friend Alice, who passed at almost 97 this February, she thankfully knew how to use an iPhone and an iPad. And there was a period of time when I couldn't visit her in her facility, but I could talk to her every single day on the phone. Sometimes I'd be looking at the ceiling, or it'd be all over the place. But I could hear her voice, and she could hear my voice, and that's what mattered. Connect with people. And then be prepared to sit with your feelings. As Kurt Condra, Reverend Kurt Condra, one of my favorite people and former minister at Unity of Dallas, used to say, let those feelings just bubble up. Just let them come up. Don't try to push them down. Don't try to push them away. Just let them be so that you can process and be with them and get the message of what those feelings are suggesting and communicating to you. One of the things that I did after my dad passed, and then later my mom and grandmother, all of whom were hugely significant in my life, was I took a respite from decorating to the hilt, so to speak. It didn't seem like a good use of my energy to haul out, or for Russ and I to haul out all the decorations from the attic. For a couple of years, I had a Christmas palm tree. Some of you all know I have an affinity for Hawaii and even have a ministry called Unity Spirit of Aloha. So we had a Christmas palm tree, and that was enough. And maybe a wreath or two, and maybe a few stockings, I don't know. But simplicity is okay. And this year, I am back for the first time in a long time to having a full Christmas tree, full decorations, although we got rid of the old one that weighed, 60-something pounds, and have one that weighs like 28 pounds. So it's much easier for Russ, who does the hauling. And it has 4 pieces instead of hundreds of pieces to assemble. So make it easy on you. As you move through the holiday events, be mindful of what you're eating, what you're drinking. Do it with mindfulness. As I heard when I was in France this summer, eat like the French do. Savor every bite. Taste it. Appreciate it. Feel it. It's not a contest to see who can eat the fastest, because how many times do we eat fast and say, gosh, I don't even really remember what I ate. That's no fun. Savor every moment of everything and embrace being. How can you be with people? How can you be with yourself? How can you be joyful? What's going to light you up? What's going to excite you? What's going to stir your heart this holiday? Because your heart is the most important aspect of this whole process of peace. Your heart. Take care of your fragile and tender and gentle heart. Nourish it. Soothe it. Talk to yourself in kind and loving ways. And you don't have to wait until New Year's Eve to do another burning bowl. You all that were here for my talk in October, I was encouraging you to do one for November 1st. Remember, did anybody do it? And you can do one for now, for early December too. You don't have to wait till the end of the month, because what you're trying to do is to let go, to release all those aspects of what you're doing, how you're acting, what your attitudes are that no longer serve you. And then the second part of my burning bowl is ignite. What you're giving life to, what you're setting fire to in the most powerful and life force kind of way. What you want to cultivate, what you want to claim for yourself. And I will mention, as I wrap up this fantastic service, my book, Energy Sparks, to recharge, refresh, and revitalize. I wrote this book in 2020, and I had no idea. It was coming out during a pandemic initially. I had been writing ideas down for years, from back when I was a co-chaplain coordinator, I guess, at Unity of Dallas, for the chaplains, and ways about self-care, how to engage in more self-care, to be more self-nurturing and self-sustaining and self-loving. So anyway, some of these are great tips that you could take advantage of between now and December 31st. And if you're interested in a copy, I am selling them today for $10. They're normally $12.97. If you already have your own practice, your own protocols, your own special activities, that's great. Just be doing something intentional every single day between now and the end of the year that brings you peace and brings you joy. Because as we become more peaceful ourselves, so does our community, so does our city, and so does our world. God bless you, and namaste. Oh, and thank you, Sandra, is holding up. I brought everybody a little playful present today, too. It's your Christmas wish list. And it's, naughty, nice, or trying. Something you want, something you need, because those are important distinctions. And something that you really need isn't anything that you can get on Amazon or in a store, right? Something to wear, something to read, your favorites, and then your wish for someone else. This might be something to do with your friends and family as you gather together. And I, as always, love my time with this beautiful community and wish you the best until I see you again. Namaste.
That was lovely. Thank you so much. Thank you, Reverend. Sorry, Reverend. Thank you, Dr. Nancy. I appreciate that. You know, in Spanish, when we sing Silent Night, we actually say Noche de Paz, night of peace. And so it all tied together really beautifully. And the idea of savoring the moment, savoring and letting go of the things that don't serve us, but also embracing the peace that comes with it when we do. So grateful for the message today and for the songs. We like to hold our vision in unity very clear so that we know what we're living into. We know what we're committed to. You'll see it on the screen here. If you could please generate this vision with me. We see a world where every being lives in awareness of their sacred oneness and divine light. Thank you. For those of you who are visiting with us for the first time and you would like to get more information about the events that we hold here in Unity, please feel free to, if you're here present, there are newcomer packages right as you walk out the door onto the left-hand side. And for those of you online, or if you choose to go online, you can connect with us there. Just click the button that says connect, and it'll take you to a form that you can fill out. And that way you get information about our services, you get connected to our community. We welcome you here. We want to thank once again the chorus today. They've been around since 2002, and they're recruiting new members. So if any of you are inspired to sing, make sure you get a hold of one of these members and have a conversation with them. And maybe you let us know where you're performing next, too, because I think it'd be an opportunity for people to come and follow you. December 18th at the Holiday Warehouse at 3 o'clock, 3 p.m. Perfect. Thank you so much for that. Wonderful. Now we're going to invite them back up to close out our service with a couple more songs. Deck the halls.
Deck the halls with boughs of holly, fa la 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 la. 'Tis the season to be jolly, fa la 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 la. Don we now our gay apparel, fa la 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 la. Troll the ancient Yuletide carol, fa la 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 la. See the blazing Yule before us, fa la 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 la. Strike the harp and join the chorus, fa la 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 la. Follow me in merry measure, fa la 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 la. While I tell of Yuletide treasure, fa la 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 la. Fast away the old year passes, fa la 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 la. Hail the new year, lads and lasses, fa la 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 la. Sing we joyous all together, fa la 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 la. Heedless of the wind and weather, fa la 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 la.
Now we're going to lead you through Let There Be Peace on Earth. Sorry, we have the old lyrics. You just sing yours. We can stand.
Let there be peace on earth, and let it begin with me. Let there be peace on earth, a peace that was meant to be, with God as our Father. Children all are we. Let us walk with each other in perfect harmony.
Light of God surround